and welcome to day 19 of my craft room clear out series. I'm Sarah Jane from Cards and a Cuppa, and today I'm going to be using my stamp sets one last time before I say goodbye. And today we're using Botanical Bliss, and it came with these botanical tags thinlits dies as well, so we're going to try and utilize them a little bit as well. I might have to die cut a sentiment panel yet, but we'll see how we get on. So let's get started. Now, I remember this being made quite a lot in sort of autumnal colours. I'm not sure what time of year it came out, but I'm going to try and sort of summer it up a bit. And so I'm going to start with a white card base, back to top folding. So cut at 10.5. and then score at 14.8. And that's our card base. And so the colours I've decided to go with are Lovely Lipstick and Shaded Spruce, which are those colours. So I'm going to start by die cutting this flower a couple of times, and this this set of leaves from the green a couple of times, and see what we get at the end. And so these dies, I've forgotten to be honest, don't cut out the bottom, so I should be tucking these behind a label anyway, so that's not really a problem. So I'm just going to snip the bottom off. That's the bit we want anyway, so that's perfect. And then I've got 3 of the leaves to go with them. And I'm going to go with stitched oval from the Stitch Shapes framelits. It comes with circles, ovals and squares. I don't want anything too fancy because it needs to complement this one. If I go with anything too fancy, it'll be too busy. So yes, I think we'll go with the third largest, second smallest, whichever way you want to look at it. I'm just going to trim a piece of white card, roughly the size of the die. But I'm going to stamp first so that if my sentiment or anything is a bit wonky, I can adjust where my oval goes. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment in basic grey. Just a bit softer. It needs to be higher and more to the side, so I'm going to use the emergency side of the card. Let's position the die so we can get a balance. That's better. Now I'll die cut that out, adding some post-it note tape just to hold the die in place, and that just pops out. I'm thinking something like that. So unfortunately yesterday my camera ran out of battery and I hadn't realised. So it cut off just as I was sticking these die cut shapes onto the foam pad. So I added the foam pads to the oval and then stuck the die cuts to the foam pads, which allowed a little bit of manipulation with the positioning rather than trying to stick the die cuts to the card and then add the layer over the top. I found it easier to stick the die cuts directly to the sentiment, and then once I'd added all the die cuts, I kept turning it over to check it, and once I'd added all the die cuts, then I added some Tombow to the back of the foam pads to make up for the sticky parts that were covered, and added that onto the card base. And then I'm just going to finish off with a little Wink of Stella glitter on the leaves. I will trim that bottom bit off to make it able to stand up. But if you're just popping this in a little a gift or something, a little note card, then I wouldn't worry about the bits hanging off the edge. And then I've got some nice thin white twine and a little heart-shaped button that I thought might look cute. So I'm going to wrap this twice around the top. You can, if you wanted to, cut a little notch at the top to hold the twine in place, but I think if you tie it securely enough, you'll probably be okay. So always leave the twine on the roll. So the roll of ribbon should go to your right. Roll of twine or ribbon should go to your right, and then it's easier to tie your bows. So tie a knot, thread it under, and then tie another knot. And then you can move the twine about to get it to lay flat. I find it easier to do it this way. And then I'm going to thread that. I'm going to cut this time because I'm going to thread that button onto the both ends of the twine. And then just tie a little bow. And then untwist any of this that doesn't lay how you want it. And trim the ends. so very minimal waste. And then last but not least, I've got some little enamel dots which I'm going to add. They are rose red and emerald green, but they coordinate pretty well with these, I would say. So let's add a couple of these on. So the enamel dots are better if you fold the thing back, aren't they? I remember now. And that's today's card, made using the Botanical Bliss stamps and dies. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and maybe you'll have a go at some simple die cutting yourself. Let me know in the comments if you do. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow me on social media for more inspiration every Monday to Friday. Thanks for watching.